Check, check. Coming through here. Check, check.
Hello.
Great.
I just got to start the summary. There we go. Okay, I'm ready.
Got it. Huh. It's really crackly.
Is it
Check. Yeah, just me.
your audio?
Yeah. No, you too. It might be my headphones. Check, check, check. Test. Coming through here. Tap, tap.
You sound great to me.
Okay,
So
cool. Hmm. That's really weird. I wonder if it is my headphones. Hold on, let me because
probably.
I mean, I don't know if you've had this with your AirPods or not, dude.
Yeah.
Check, check.
Hello? Can you hear me? Now I've lost
Yeah,
you.
I can hear you.
Okay, great.
Everything sounds crackly. Check, check, check. Ooh, but it
Uh,
looks great.
I'll get a
So,
crackle once in a while, but
okay.
well, and I've completely changed to line in for the records because I had too much trouble with my AirPods.
Yeah, I think hold on, let me um yeah. Yeah, let me grab my other headphones, dude.
There he goes.
Oh shoot,
Okay.
we're recording. Dang it.
No, it's okay. I go line in. It's like our old friend Sherm used to say when he bought his daughter Krista, our friend, a car, I think. No frills, less to break, less to go wrong. That's how I feel about wireless stuff while we're recording. Everything goes wrong, for me at least. I wonder if Anthony's going to get his nice headphones. See about that. Not me. I'm going analog. Keep searching. He's gone. Yeah, I'll cut this out if I post it.
Got it. Can you still hear me?
Mhm.
Okay, let's plug in analog. I think that's a good idea. I heard you.
Yeah.
You still there?
Yep.
Yeah, less to break.
And I think I was getting to a point where my AirPods were running out of juice when we had long
Okay.
records, and then it would the last 5 minutes I would have to grab the when it goes off on your headphones. Oh, he's changing. I'll tell this listener. When it goes off on your headphones, it just messes everything up. Looks like he's putting the Sonos on. Hello? Hello?
Can you hear me?
Yep, it's still coming through.
Okay, so you can hear me.
Mm-hmm. Check, check.
Speaker is built-in output.
Check, check.
Yep.
Okay, can you hear me?
Talk again.
Hello, check. Can you hear me?
Great. Yep.
Can you make
Let me
sure you're coming through your mic?
Yeah.
Can you bonk your mic? Okay, great. It's coming through there.
Check, check.
Awesome.
Great. Okay, so you're coming through here.
Do those headphones have a mic on them?
I don't know.
I think they do because you can get calls on them.
Can you? I haven't tried that yet.
Me neither.
Okay, let me try recording on this and see how this sounds. Sorry, YouTubers, this is so boring.
I'm gonna
Check,
cut
check,
this out.
check.
Don't worry about
Okay,
it.
great,
Yeah.
great.
Or I just won't put this one up on YouTube.
That sounds great.
Check 1 2. You
Yep,
good? Okay, great.
yep. And coming through here.
Yep.
Great. Dude, my AirPods sounded horrid. What the heck?
I don't know. I just feel like that's a crapshoot.
Yeah, well,
Or
it's
has
been working
become
for me
that for
for
me.
years.
Yeah. I know. All of a sudden, for me, about 6 months ago, probably less than that, 3 months ago, I could never get my AirPods to work on the recordings very well.
Yeah.
So
You know what I'm gonna do is I'm gonna start. I'm gonna get what you've got right there. I like that because I don't want to wear cans for 3 hours.
it's gonna get hot in
Yeah,
the
too
summer.
hot.
Yeah, too hot.
Too hot to handle. Okay, let's do this.
Okay, I'm
Maybe I'll
ready.
switch before the Gomer Jobs app. Find
Okay,
something smaller.
great.
I've got to have some old school somewhere.
Yeah, yep.
Okay, here we go, dude. All right, 1, 2, 3, click. 1, 2, 3, clap,
Clap. 1, 2, 3, clap.
clap.
You're listening to the Two Gomers podcast, a show about two regular guys in their 40s embracing midlife, chasing healthy aging, and inviting a nation along for the run. This is episode 412. Don't try to change everything at once for July 12th, 2024.
Welcome, everybody, to episode 412 of the Two Gomers podcast that comes out on July 12th. That's kind of funny. This is Anthony
Very
speaking.
funny.
Not
I'm
like haha
laughing.
funny.
Everybody's laughing about
Right.
this right now.
What a coincidence. 412 on 712. Wow. This is Anthony speaking, one of those two aforementioned Gomers coming to you from Atlanta, Georgia, with my friend Steven, all the way out in Flagstaff, Arizona.
Hey, dude.
Hey, man. So, like I just said, this comes out on July 12th, but we're recording it on July 1st.
Right.
And that is the midway point of the year.
Right.
Like
Would you say June
geographical
30th
center.
is? Would it be June 30th or July 1st? I'm going to
I
go
don't know.
July 1st.
Yeah, I would say July 1st. I mean, maybe midnight, like right between the two, geographical center.
Yeah, that's true. Like 11:59 and 59
Right.
seconds is the
Right.
midpoint.
Yeah.
My fiscal year what? My fiscal year ended yesterday. That's why I ask.
Right. Okay. That's
But
crazy.
my
Yeah.
new fiscal year starts today. So is that the midpoint? I don't know. Let's go with
Yeah.
that. July 1st
Yeah.
is the midpoint. And I kind of like that we're doing this episode at the midpoint of the year, talking about changing things, taking stock. Nation, we love taking stock.
Yeah. We love taking stock. We love restarts. We're 6 months into the year, starting
Yeah.
our 7th month.
Yep.
7, perfect number. Ooh, 7, the Sabbath, biblical, rest in the sevens.
I'm a
Seven is the
7 on the
perfect number.
Enneagram.
Yep. I play a 7,000 series Heckle bassoon.
So at the midpoint of the year,
Yep.
I mean, I really like taking stock. We just said, you know what? I'm embarrassed to say I don't remember what your word is this year.
Free.
Oh, duh. Of course, free.
Yep.
And
yours was embrace, right?
that's right.
Yeah, mine has kind of like morphed into let go.
Got it. Okay. That's in the same area, right? Like,
Oh,
we're
100. I mean,
thematically very similar there.
oh yeah, freedom, detach,
Yeah.
let go.
Mm-hmm.
Be free.
Mm-hmm.
That whole idea is not only framing this year, but kind of becoming a life word.
Gotcha.
I mean, free is a great just one syllable.
Well, we talked about that, right? Are we in life word territory when you said free?
Yeah.
Yeah.
And let go is a little bit more actionable.
Sure.
But it's also kind of passive, like you're letting it go too. It's active, and do you know what I mean?
Yeah, I would say for me it's been more active. It doesn't work unless I'm really trying. I don't know. Maybe that's just me.
Well,
But I get what you mean, because it's like inactivity, right?
Yeah, you're letting go and allowing life, allowing God to do his work. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
So you're letting go. What I think of it is like letting go of the reins, not being passive.
Mm-hmm.
but it's that idea, from Sacred Fire, passive spirituality,
Yeah. Yeah.
like it's not passivity, like, and same with detachment, isn't like, oh man, I'm just detached from the world, right? It's
Right.
letting go.
Yep. Maybe
I
I'm
don't know.
thinking about like Elsa, like just she's doing a lot of activity when she's letting it
Yeah,
go, right? She's
let it
shooting
go.
out
Yeah,
snowflakes and ice and all that stuff.
totally. Well, okay, if you let go of the reins, which was the vision I had 8 years ago,
Yeah.
that is letting somebody else be in charge,
Right.
and
Got it.
that is somewhat being a passenger,
Yeah. I mean, I
right?
I like this as like this is part of the journey toward what may become your life word, which is free.
Uh-huh.
That's awesome.
Yep. Free.
Um,
That's it.
I think my word embrace, I I don't know. I mean, this is the midpoint, and I'll come
Mm-hmm.
back to it, of course, when we get to our one words in uh December, January. I wouldn't say this was a misfire, but I had no idea what I was getting myself into when I chose this
Mm.
word.
Mm.
So, um,
Hmm.
yeah, I'm going through a lot. I'm not going to talk about it on this episode. We have an
Yeah.
episode coming up where I may talk about it, but I think I'm in the biggest life change I've ever gone through.
Mm.
How many times have I said that on the podcast? Nation, I'm prone to these ejaculations.
The hyperbolic
Right.
ejaculation.
I don't think I'm exaggerating here, but I could be. And 5 years from now, I could be like, no, that wasn't it. This is it. But
Right.
um, it's hard when you're going through a major, to say the least, life change to pick a word called embrace and
Right.
expect that to just happen. Speaking of active and passive. Um,
Uh-huh.
so
It, yeah.
yeah,
Well, just so that people don't wonder if
yeah,
they're brand new on this first episode, you and Jessica are becoming empty nesters this summer.
right.
Your youngest is heading to college. So
Yeah,
that's what it is.
yeah.
So, right.
We're too young for this. It's like I
Weird,
keep
dude.
thinking we're too young for this. What did we
Yeah.
do?
Wow.
Uh, yeah, we'll talk about it on the podcast. I can hardly talk about it at all. So,
Yep.
uh, midpoint of the year, not doing great. How's
Midpoint,
that for
not
an
so good.
update?
Not crushing it, like we said a couple episodes ago.
Yeah,
Um, well, yeah, well, sure.
I
I
just got
don't
to
know
be
what else to
honest. I'm
say.
not doing great
Yep.
right now. We
Right.
push through, we press on,
Yep.
and we will talk about that more probably as the year, I should say, progresses. Um, but this episode,
Yep.
we're going to talk about something. This is we're going to start with a baby step of the week. Then we're going to head into the core where we take a deeper look at a way we're chasing health in midlife. This week, Anthony's choice. Don't
Mm.
try to change everything at once. It's been on the
Mm.
list for a while. We're finally doing this.
Ugh. Yeah.
I didn't mean to wait. I didn't mean to make it sound like
Oh no, these are hard ones that make sense as an idea, and I get it, but trying to flesh it out is going to be hard, but I think will be really helpful, and it's been helpful for me to go through it
and you
too.
did.
So,
You called me a slave driver before we started recording. I said, please write some notes for me so I know what you mean. Now, I will also another behind the scenes thing is we do have a long list of ideas for the Two Gomers podcast, and
yeah.
there are a lot of good ideas where there's a parenthetical that Anthony has put behind it that says maybe later though.
So there's that's one behind the scenes,
Yeah,
and then the other behind the scenes is we're trying to figure out a way where our notes line up better.
yeah,
And so like me trying to plug my notes into our like template is just hard for me because we both think differently, but it's been really helpful. It's been a great upstream practice for me.
trying
So
to
hopefully
plug
it'll
you into how I function has never been that successful.
right. I mean, like Erin was looking at my clear journal and
Uh-huh.
she's like, "You have so much wasted white space in this journal," and I'm like, "I know. Well, that was supposed to be that. That was supposed to be that. I'm trying. I'm baby stepping, dude."
Well, um, I can't wait to get to this one because there are actual notes. This is going to be
Yeah,
great.
I know.
Um,
You can just read along, dude.
I'm just going to follow the notes. And then we're going to end with what's giving us life this week. But first, here on the Two Gomers podcast, we want to take big strides toward health in midlife, but we understand that most of the time it's simple and small. So now it's time for baby step of the week.
All right, here we are in baby step of the week. And Steven, on the notes, I can't read it because it's whited out.
This is my little
What?
trick.
Yeah, even though I could read it when you wrote it in because it was highlighted, but then it went white.
This maybe is a little too behind the scenes. That people are like, "What are you guys talking about?" It just don't worry about it, nation. Okay, baby step of the week is when we talk about a small step each of us have taken toward the bigger goal of health. Right?
Yep.
I we talked about comparison a lot
Yep.
over the years, right? So there's this constant journey toward health in just being who we are. I want to be me.
Right. Be comfortable in your own skin.
Well, it's funny that you say that because the summer in particular is difficult for me around this.
Yeah.
And part of the reason is got to go swimming.
Oh, yeah. Okay.
So we went to San Diego on vacation in early June. Then my
Mhm.
family came to visit, and we're going to creeks and cricks. Would you call it a crick?
Crick.
Do you
Yeah.
ever call it a crick?
I remember. I don't, but I've heard that.
Yeah, I called it a
Crick.
creek that we went
Yeah.
to. And you have a choice
Right.
there. And it you know, so I run 5 times a week. I do strength training. I've cut out sugar in my life, so I feel pretty good because that's made me look or not look. That's made me feel the worst, sugar. And so I've worked hard to do that.
Yep. Right.
And still, like if you gave a crayon to a 5-year-old and said, draw dad bod,
Yeah. Right.
it would be a exact likeness of me without my shirt on.
Right.
And so you're
Formless and void.
right. Yeah. I think I've said pear shaped before. Well, it's a pear, but then there's legs sticking out the bottom, right?
Right.
So you're on Mission Beach in San Diego, and you can't throw a rock without hitting a hunk.
Yeah. Right. I mean, I am Knuff, right? Is everywhere.
That's good. Yep. And then
Beaching.
you look at the guys with the I am enough shirts on, and you're like, of course you are. You're a hunk.
Right. Yeah. Yeah.
We went to the creek, and my brothers-in-law are fitter than I am. One
Yeah.
of them is 50 years old, and you could bounce a quarter off his abs. Um,
I thought you were gonna say something else.
no, yeah, the ABS. I could have changed one word, and it still would have been true.
Right.
One letter, I should say. Okay,
Yeah.
so I told you, like, I'm over this, right? I decided
Yep.
one time nobody gives a rip,
Yep. Totally.
but I guess I'm not completely over it because something in my mind is always preventing me from taking my shirt off.
Sure. Yep.
And the baby step is I have just been taking my shirt off because I don't want to care, right?
Yep.
And so for me, the baby step toward not caring about whether people care about what my body looks like, even though I feel fine, is
Yep.
to actually take my shirt off and just shrug it off.
Uh-huh.
And so the truth of it is nobody gives a rip.
Yep.
Everybody's thinking about themselves way more than they're thinking about me.
Yep.
And so little by little, I think I'm growing in health there by just saying, this is me. This is my body.
Yep.
Now, if you're gonna take that shirt off, don't forget the sunscreen.
Yeah, I was gonna say whiteout. Like you whited this out there.
There's all sorts of whiting out, right?
Right.
Because I'm not super good at sunscreen because then you look even paler. You know what I mean? Like you put
Yeah,
that
yeah.
as if I'm not like already pale enough.
Right.
Then I put white, thick sunscreen on.
Ghosty.
Yep.
And that's an area that doesn't get a lot of sun.
Right.
Too. So it's kind of like a catch-22. What is it?
Sure.
Like it's a vicious cycle because you're not tan.
Mm-hmm.
And so then you burn easily, and then and also you don't want to take your shirt off, so then you don't tan, and then you're extra white, and then you don't want to take your shirt off, so then you don't tan.
And it's not like I'm laying out, You know what I mean? To take care of
Right.
that issue.
Yeah.
Um, but I just have decided this summer nobody cares, and if they care, I don't care. And
Hmm.
so off has gone the shirt.
Great, dude. That's a play on my one from last year, right? Of going to Great Wolf Lodge,
Yep, exactly.
and
Yes.
I wore the rash guard
Right.
inside,
I
which
couldn't think of
doesn't
the
make.
word rash guard.
Yep. But
Yep.
you know what? This summer, I've got to say, I've done the exact same thing you've been doing. As I've been like, who gives a rip?
Listen, nation, we're growing. Baby steps, bro.
Yep. I mean, I am going to talk about it and change one thing, or
Yeah.
don't try to change everything at once.
Uh-huh.
There is one thing I'd like to change.
In this
And
area.
yeah, and it's funny because if you listen back to the Gomers since we were 29, it's been pretty much the same.
Of
Um,
course. Yeah.
but yeah, but I've been doing the same thing. Like, who
Sweet.
gives a rip?
Yep.
Neighbors don't care.
Mm-hmm.
You know, it's part of being 45 and 46.
It's just I don't have that. I don't have my 20. I don't even have my 29-year-old bod anymore when we were talking
Right.
about this then, right?
Well, and
That's
it's
okay.
the who are you trying to impress like
Yeah.
thing too
Mm-hmm.
is like, who cares? Like, I don't know. They're
You're
not
right.
gonna see it bigger or smaller and even be impressed or unimpressed. It's just like you look like you know?
Yep.
I don't know.
Size doesn't matter. All right.
Totally.
What about your baby step?
All right, so we're doing some more health kick action.
Mm-hmm.
We're so we've talked about dry stuff,
Yeah.
going dry.
Mm-hmm.
We've talked about Whole30. We've talked about all that kind of stuff.
Yeah.
And we'll talk about it more in the core of the episode. But I'm doing just to keep on the like making sure being dry and then having a drink every now and then is fine.
Yep.
I love to just go dry for 30. Remember that
Mhm.
was like the instigator of Dry 100
Yep.
was I listened to that sermon
Yeah.
by Chris Dolson, and he was like, if you can't not do something for 30 days, I'm sure he worded it better than that.
Yeah.
Maybe there's an issue.
And when we had our episode with Jason, very similar stuff
Yep.
came up, right?
Yep.
Like,
Totally.
yep, for sure.
So I'm doing whole dry July.
Okay. Awesome.
July 1st. So here we go. So far, I had black coffee today and no beer.
I'm proud of you. And you did it all with your shirt off.
All with my shirt off, and it's only noon, so we're doing good. But my baby step, I said it in the Dry 100 episode, but I did it last night.
Okay.
Which is take all beer out of any refrigerator.
Oh, right. I forgot about this one. Yeah.
And soda. So no soda either.
Okay. Got it.
Because like the only thing that can be in the fridge is La Croix or La Croix adjacent, like San Pellegrino or things of that nature.
So this is just so that you have one more step to like what? Step to actually having a beer.
Yeah. Well, I won't drink room temperature beer, and I certainly won't drink garage temperature beer, which is 80.
And there's something about beer I learned 2 years ago. You don't put ice in it, right?
No. No, dude.
What? Why? Why not? I mean, I put ice in
That's
Coke.
actually a super interesting question, but you wouldn't do that with wine either. Although sangria, yeah, there's ice
You
in
wouldn't
that.
you wouldn't do it with wine, you're saying.
What did I say?
You did say you wouldn't do.
Oh,
I'm
I
just
said
saying
wine.
you learn something new every day. I don't.
Yeah,
This
so
is for me and the teetotalers out there.
got it. Yeah, no. You would not. Like, actually, you don't serve root beer with ice either,
Oh, I guess not.
right? You
So
serve
this
root
is
beer
like,
in an
is
ice
it
cold
because
mug.
wine and beer are so expensive, and so you don't want to water them down? And
I think it's not because of expensive. I think it's because of the flavor.
okay, all right,
I think you don't want to water it down.
got it.
I think that's why.
But when I have an ice cold Coke, this is the
Yeah.
confusion that I have.
Right.
Is that so? You said you take soda out of the fridge also.
Yep.
That doesn't work as well because you could put ice in that.
You could just pour that over ice, right? But you would never do that with a beer.
Got it.
At least I've never heard of anybody doing that.
No.
And so, like,
Except for me one time, and I got made fun of. That's how come I learned it.
Oh, right. Okay, that's funny. So no, it's the Atomic Habits. It's like make it unattractive,
Mm.
make or put a barrier in between
Yep.
you and a habit. That's
One
what it
more
was.
little barrier can do that,
Yeah.
right?
Yep.
Yep.
And so that's
Love
what
it.
the baby step is.
Cool.
And it's not because I'm tempted by it. It's just Pavlovian. If you open that fridge, man, and I'm making a read,
Yeah.
and I open that to look for La Croix, and there's an ice cold, you know, night on Ponce.
Uh-huh.
Game over, man. So
I love it. Yeah. And it is a baby step because the action is small, right? You just remove the beer,
Yep.
put it a little bit farther away from what's cold.
Totally. And
And
soda.
that
This
helps.
totally works for soda. I did it
Okay.
all. And we had a party not too long ago with some friends over, and our fridge, I was proud
Mm.
when I unpacked that fridge of the variety of sodas and
Mm-hmm.
brewskis, like some
Mm-hmm.
craft stuff that was pretty sweet.
Yeah.
And I was like, this is a well-stocked fridge, and it's all on the ground in my garage now. So I'll put it somewhere where it's not going to get ruined over the next 30 days.
Good idea.
But you
Well,
know what I mean. I'm
yep,
just
for sure.
trying to cleanse for 30, all that.
Yes.
And this
Got
was
it.
a baby
And
step.
we're looking forward to the report of that at the end of the month because,
You
like you
got it.
said, it's still noon on the first.
I will say Aaron and the girls, well, Aaron and Lily have been loving Hint water.
Hint. I don't think I've ever heard of it.
Hint. It's like just ice cold water. It's not bubbly.
Mm.
And it's just like a hint of fruit
Oh.
essence or something. It's
I like
really
that.
good. It is
Okay.
good.
There's a bonus tip, everybody. Hint
Yep.
water.
Yep.
Not sponsored.
Not at all.
Unless there's a rep out there of Hint. Listen, the two Gomers are not afraid. We can be bought.
100%. Go
Email
try
us.
100 with Hint.
All right, let's head over to the core.
All right. Let's clap again.
Great.
Oh, we forgot to clap. Oh, well, shoot.
When?
All right. Before the baby
Oh, yeah.
step.
Okay, this is good.
Okay. 1, 2, 3, clap.
Clap. 1, 2, 3, clap.
Clap.
Hmm.
All right. Hey, how's it going over there? Grab that La Croix, do the dry 30 July, and have a good one.
Don't try to change everything at once. I messed up this wording. You put don't try to change everything at once. I put don't try to fix everything at once. Then we changed it back to don't try to change everything at once.
Oh, right.
I think this is awesome for July. Actually, I feel like this would be an awesome end of the year one, but we're always doing our one words. And so
Right.
this is the perfect time for this, I think.
Yep.
Maybe you could start, because this is an Anthony choice,
Mm-hmm.
by letting us know what you mean by this.
Okay.
I think I know, especially after the notes you sent, but what do you mean
Right.
by this one?
Well, so I always want to fix and change everything like all at once. Like if I'm gonna I don't know, clean something up, like
Yeah.
clean up our library / blue room / music room downstairs.
Right.
I have a hard time just cleaning one shelf.
Oh,
I want to like repaint it, organize it.
yeah.
And so then I don't do any of it. You know what I mean?
Right. Gotcha. Yep.
Or do a read inventory. I
Mhm.
have, I don't know, hundreds, thousands of reads in my house at different spots all over it. And, I can't just deal with one box. I have to deal with all of them. It becomes overwhelming in a sense.
Are these all reads? And by the way, Nation, if this is your first episode, Anthony's a bassoonist, and he's talking about making his own reads, which is a big part of your job, right?
Yep.
Are these reads all in various phases of completion?
Oh, yeah.
Okay.
There's ones all the way back to high school. That's almost 30 years ago. I have those in Ziploc bags.
Okay.
I have those in old jam jars.
Like you accidentally open a door you're not supposed to open in somebody's house, and there's like jars of like body parts.
Right, but it's just old reeds. Like if you were here, I could show you. I mean, in this closet, a bunch, in my old studio closet, which is now Lily's room. There's
Yeah.
boxes of them. I mean, I
Okay.
have a box right here. I have another one right here. Downstairs, they're everywhere.
So your reads, it sounds like, is kind of a microcosm of the bigger idea about what
Right.
we're talking about here, right?
Yeah, well, that's just kind of like an example. So
Yeah.
like, okay, when we talk atomic habits, like when I make a list of habits, like in the habit journal,
Yep.
you don't make one, you make 30. And then how many do you follow through on?
Uh-huh.
You know what I mean?
Yep.
Like you want to floss more, and you want to, you want to stop eating at 8, and you want to only spend 5 minutes a day on Instagram, and you want to
Uh-huh.
journal, but you want to
Yeah.
do 5-year journal and another journal, and then also the clear habit journal. You know what I mean? It gets mucked up, and then what happens is you don't do any of it.
Yeah. So the answer, you ask kind of a rhetorical question, like how many of those you actually get done? It sounds
Right.
like for a lot of us, the answer to that is when there's 30, you get 0.
Yes.
Okay.
And so what I actually made this thought of this idea when we were at Great Wolf Lodge, and I was texting myself from my Apple Watch with my rash guard on inside.
But maybe that's the answer for you, bro. You just need to go to that wave pool in Great
I
Wolf
know,
Lodge and everything falls into place.
totally. But what I was thinking was, I saw this. So Aaron Franklin is this barbecue guy from Austin, Texas. This guy I love to watch on. He was on PBS, and you can
Okay.
see him on YouTube, and he did this video, and he was like, change one thing at a time. And
And
so
is he just talking about barbecuing?
yeah, he's talking about like variables in barbecuing.
Oh,
So
okay.
he did one whole episode just about how you wrap the brisket.
Mm-hmm.
So he
I
made
see.
3 different briskets. He made one naked, like the brisket wasn't wrapped, one wrapped in paper, and one wrapped in foil. And that
Okay,
was the
I'm
whole
just putting
episode.
away a joke that I had about him doing it naked that
Okay,
has to
right.
do with taking your shirt off. But okay,
Right.
so and so are you saying that the 3 of those things he was doing them one at a time?
No, that like so he was just testing wrapping the brisket.
Okay,
Like
the
when you make a
wrapping is the
brisket,
habit.
I
I get
mean,
it. Okay.
yeah, like think of like a million different variables.
Yep.
Like where you get the meat, what
Mm-hmm.
kind of meat it is, what cut. I mean, I guess that's probably similar, but how you smoke the meat, where you put it on the smoker, how
Amount of
long you
time.
smoke it for.
Yep.
Yeah,
Yeah.
amount of time. And so he did this one, and he was like, the way that he learned the best way to make like this legendary brisket
Mm-hmm.
is by changing one variable at a time.
Okay. Got it. I
And
love
so
that.
a couple years ago, I applied that to reed making.
Okay.
And because I mean, I have a major, like I'm trying shapes, I'm trying scrapes, I'm trying lengths, I'm trying thicknesses, I'm trying tube roundness versus oval, both
Wow.
tubes, how long the wires are, how long the tube is, how long the blade is,
Uh-huh.
how thin the corners of the tip is. Do I like scrape the very tip, or like use sandpaper, or do I use a knife, or do I use a file? I mean, like,
Can we put some sort of soundtrack behind what you just did? I don't even know what the soundtrack would be. Would it be some sort of like patriotic song, or would it be more like a saber dance? I
yeah.
don't know
Well,
what soundtrack is in your head when you're going through that stuff.
when I'm thinking about that, I'm thinking actually about um, Matt Damon
Okay.
trying to figure out how to get back to the Earth
I
when
mean,
he's
that's
the
pretty
Martian.
good. Yeah, I like
And
that. Yep.
like that's the kind of music I'm thinking about when I'm reed making. There's algorithms on the windows.
Mm,
It's Facebook, or not Facebook. It's social network.
yep.
It's it's the Martian though. It really
Yeah.
is. Or like Interstellar. When they're trying to figure out what the ghost is saying, him and his daughter. And
Yes.
it says
What
stay.
it's with a weird way to describe that movie, but it's accurate. They're trying to figure out what a ghost is saying in
Mhm.
that movie. Um, yeah, I think both of those are great examples. Now, my guess, just knowing our listeners, is most of them aren't reed makers, right?
Right.
Probably not a lot of expert barbecuers either, right? So where is the how can I relate to what you're saying? How
Mm,
can the listener relate to it?
right.
Where's the jump here
Okay.
into the broader thing?
So what I'm thinking is I took that barbecue thing and applied it to reed making.
Uh-huh.
And I was like, is it possible to apply it to uh, our aging
Mm-hmm.
bods?
Yep.
Because I think everybody wants to be healthy, wants to grow
Yep.
in health and grow in healthy changes
Mm-hmm.
and stuff like that. And so like I know like I want to fix a lot of things,
Right.
but can I just focus on one thing at a time?
Yeah. Okay. Do you have any examples of those things?
Yeah, well, so I mean, one thing I want to do, dude, is like I got to be honest. We're talking about the whole shirt thing.
Yeah.
I just, if anybody feels bad about this, I don't want anybody to feel bad, but I just don't like my stupid beer gut.
So
That's like my main. Actually, okay. My main one thing,
yeah.
like being like above all else, is like I just want to feel healthy
Right.
and
Of course.
feel like I don't hurt all the time. Like I'm
Mm-hmm.
like my back, it doesn't hurt, and like my you want to have energy.
Mm-hmm.
Sometimes you feel like just totally lethargic,
Yeah.
probably due to inflammation
Uh-huh.
and inactivity and all that kind of stuff. So like that's like and as I get older, that is the headline of health for me.
Right.
Is like I just want to have energy,
Mm-hmm.
feel good, not
Yep.
feel like dump truck when I wake up in the morning. Uh
Is it that a dump truck hit you, or you feel like the
yeah,
dump
you feel
truck
like you got
itself?
hit. I think that's what it is. I feel like you got hit by a Mack truck. You know, you just feel like that. And so,
Yeah.
but like I just don't like that stupid beer belly. I just
Uh-huh.
for
I know.
me,
Mm-hmm.
just for me.
No, I know.
And
It's not
um
just for you, by the way. I think lots of people do it, but I know what you're saying, that you're not trying to lay that on other people or make
right,
judgments about how everybody looks. This is a
100% don't
you
care.
thing. Yep.
Yep. Uh I don't like that if that I need to buy new dress shirts.
Mm-hmm.
I don't like that I need to buy a new suit jacket. I don't
Mm-hmm.
like that.
Yeah.
And I don't think I'm to the point where I'm being an amazing steward of it. And so it just is what it is, and you just need to accept it.
Yeah.
Do you know what I mean? I
Yep.
don't think I'm being a good steward of it.
Mm-hmm. That's a big difference. I understand what you're saying. Um, can I just go back to kind of this overarching thing you were talking about, like the overarching thing, which is we want to be healthy, right?
Yep.
Um, but I think the issue is, and we've talked about this for years, that to get to that overarching thing, there's a lot of things probably, and a lot of habits that we need to form.
Yeah.
And 30, you said 30, right? I think it's probably more than that.
Mm,
Um, have to form. I don't know if that's the right way of saying it, but that we want to form, right? And so, um, that's where I think I get caught in the weeds
mm,
of like, well, which one do I choose? And so I like the idea of choosing one. Before we started recording, I just Googled how many habits should you try to change at once?
mm.
And
Okay.
shocker of all shockers, number one result was a article that James Clear wrote
Got it.
called Five Common Mistakes That Cause New Habits to Fail. Problem number one, trying to change everything at once.
There you go. See, okay, so I think I found that same article, maybe.
Okay.
Is it one at the title towards the bottom? It says, Change your life without changing your entire life.
No, my guess is he's written a lot of articles about this.
Maybe. Yeah. So, okay, can I read a couple bullet points from that?
Sure.
Okay, so he says you're 2 to 3 times more likely to follow through with a habit if you make a specific plan for when, where, and how you're going to implement it.
Yep.
But number two is you should focus entirely on one thing. Research has found that implementation intentions do not work if you try to improve multiple habits at the same time.
Right. Yep.
And it takes an average of 2 months to make a habit automatic, like it becomes part of your routine.
Yep.
But that really only, what he called it, automaticity.
Okay.
It's kind of cool. Automaticity is the ability to perform a behavior without thinking about each step.
Mm-hmm.
So, like, I mean, the automaticity of driving past Taco Bell. There's automaticity. Actually, that's not automaticity. Maybe just driving through someplace is.
Mm-hmm. Yeah. Yep.
Right. Maybe not Taco Bell in particular, although I do have some follow ups, maybe in the Gomer Jobs episode. I
Okay.
tried all the things you told me to try before we started the
Awesome.
whole dry July.
Okay, good. Got to get those in on June 30th. Drink all the cold beer in your fridge. Go to Taco Bell.
Right.
Let me read this is a different article. It's so funny to me because I think
Okay.
I wouldn't be surprised if James Clear has written 20 articles about this particular thing.
Yeah.
Pick
sure.
one, make it routine, and then move on. So he says, personally, this is James Clear, I prefer to focus on building one new behavior into my life at a time. Once that habit becomes routine, then and only then do I move on to the next one. For example, I spent
Wow.
6 months focusing on going to the gym every Monday, Wednesday, and Friday. Once that felt like a routine, I can't remember the word you just used,
Automaticity.
right. So he must mean by that, I didn't have to think about every single step to get there, right? This is just part of
Yep.
my life.
Yep.
Then I
So,
moved on to my next habit, which was writing a new article every Monday and Thursday. This time I spent 8 months focusing on that new habit until it became part of my lifestyle. Next, I moved on to flossing every day and so on. You get the idea. One thing that stood out to me about just that paragraph is how long this takes.
Yeah, so I think that right there is one of the major blocks. So it's like,
100%.
okay, so does that mean I'm not gonna floss my teeth for what is 8 plus 6, like 14 months? It's like I wanna floss my teeth, but I'm not going to for 14 months because before I could do that, I have to spend 6 months getting to the gym and then 8 months writing articles. Then I'll floss.
What do you
It's
think
like,
his response would be to that question? This is not rhetorical. I'm actually wondering. Like,
right,
would he say, "Yep, that's right. Don't floss your teeth for 14 months
right.
because it's not going to work." Or he would say, "Well, I mean, cut yourself some slack. It's okay to also try flossing." He's making a
Yeah,
point here, and I get it. The next I
for
moved
sure.
on to flossing, kind of, I'm wondering if that's kind of tongue in cheek.
Sure. Yeah, that's kind of that is a classic. Like when we started the Streaks app,
Mm-hmm.
that
Yep.
was one of like the top 10 streaks people want. So
Yep.
you're
You're
right.
right.
That's kind of a funny, yeah,
Yeah.
tongue in cheek sort of thing. But do you know what I mean though? It's like
Yes.
there are 10, 20 things about my life I wish I could change, fix, make better,
Yeah.
improve on,
Mm-hmm.
learn about.
Yep.
And I think, I guess maybe that's the crux of this episode
Mm-hmm.
is I want to do all of them. And
Yeah.
I don't want to start flossing in 18 months. But I also want to work on my gut. I also
Yeah.
want to close my rings every day. I also want to read 30 minutes a day, do 5 minutes of Instagram.
Yep.
So I think that's where, and I wrote it in the notes now that you can see it,
Mm-hmm.
is I said this is something that I am in process, not having mastered at all, but I just wanted to talk about.
And you said this when we were approaching the episode on a text. You're like,
Yep.
this is something I'm not great at, or I'm in process. And I actually like these episodes, right?
Mm.
You know, people out there think we've got it all together.
Nobody thinks that. Yeah, right.
This is not true at all. But there are some things that we really don't have together.
Yeah.
But we said this in the last ep, I think. We try. And I think even as you're saying this thing, which is it feels like a contradiction to want one thing and to know that I'm I'm not good at it. Can I talk about it? I think you can talk about it when you haven't gotten it together yet. Um, if you can, there are some things I don't have together yet that I can't talk about because they're just too emotional, right?
Mm, yeah.
But this kind of thing, I'm sure people saw the title of this episode, bro, and they're like, I get it.
Yeah.
I get what they mean. Um, I don't think that it probably takes 6, 8 months to do all of these habits that I have on my list that I want to form, right?
Mm.
Uh, but it actually helps me to think about, well, what if it did take me 6 months?
What if what if we made a little plan that was accelerated? I mean, okay, I'm not trying to cheat here.
Mhm.
I'm just trying to like try something. Like throw crap at the wall and see what sticks. But like what so okay, like as an example, I want to go through all my clothes Marie Kondo style,
Okay. Ooh, I love
right?
this.
I
Yes.
mean that's one I really want to do, but should I do that in 18 months and just look at them until then? And then
Well,
hope
uh,
between now and then I floss a few times and
no,
like stop drinking beer and only
it
do Instagram 5 minutes a day.
it does feel overwhelming when you start actually talking about the practicalities of it.
Yeah.
Um, and so what my one tip on this is
Mm.
the one thing that's helped me is to actually calendar not only my to-dos, but some of the bigger habits that I want to form in my life.
Yeah, I'm really into that, dude. Like that is one part of the Clear Habit Journal that I've done quite well with is
Mm-hmm.
I make my master list of my
Mm-hmm.
to-dos.
Yeah.
So remember I've got my now, soon, later, and laterer.
Yep.
But then starting to take those that
Or
was
you
just
said there's
my
not a
language.
later how many
Sure.
ers can you
It's
add
fully
to that?
like one of them will just be like probably not going to happen, but just write it down.
Well, there might be something there, honestly, bro. I mean, we've talked
Actually,
about the movie shoot,
yep.
right? Like,
Yeah.
there's where I don't know if we've actually talked about that on the main feed, but like, instead of being like, no, that's in my queue, someday I'm gonna watch Stranger Things,
Yeah.
just put it down the movie shoot, send it
Uh-huh.
to movie hell. You're never gonna watch that thing, and that's okay. So I'm just this wasn't in your notes or my thoughts, but I
Yeah,
wonder
yeah,
if
yeah.
there's something there that you just said. Is there just some
So,
things that where you're like,
yeah,
no, I'm gonna put that away?
like a habit shoot.
Habit shoot. Put it down the habit shoot.
So, okay, so I'm not ready to give up on some of those things. Like
For
I'm like
sure.
fully understanding like your word of embrace,
Mm-hmm.
acceptance, accept
Mm-hmm.
what is. Like
Yep.
that is a great thing I think when you hit midlife
Yeah.
is like there are some things that you just need to accept. Like the Tronbod thing that we had to accept years ago, right? I mean, it's
Right.
a stupid one.
No,
Um,
but I felt like it was significant where we said we had this epiphany. I'd rather be the Tron guy than have Tron bod. Like you're
yes.
you're embracing.
Yes, I forgot about embracing stewardship and faithfulness and
Right.
steadfastness as opposed to an ideal shape
So
or
there are some things we
yeah.
put down the chute, like Tron bod, but I get
Yep.
also that there are some habits that, for good reason, you're like, that one does not go down the chute. Like, this is
Yep.
a habit that I actually want to develop. Um, so just so you know, I also found some articles. James Clear isn't God, right? He doesn't make
Right.
all the rules. There was, I went to, I think it was psychology.net or something. It was
Nice.
um, where
Yep.
they said um, max three.
Okay.
Like, don't go over three big, kind of big picture habits that you want to form. I don't know if they
Yeah.
would have included flossing in that. Um, but this is maybe a know thyself too. I think it's pretty clear that 30 is too many
Yeah.
for me,
Is
at
it
least.
possible? Yeah, for well, clearly. I mean, it becomes paralyzing and then you
Mm-hmm.
don't do many of them. And I'm not saying I want to start 30 new habits. It's just when we enter them into the the back of the Clear Habit Journal,
Yep.
I fill that thing up and then I X them for like a few days, and it's like, oh, forget it.
Yeah. Yep.
And it's because it's almost too many things to think about, even though many of them have automaticity.
Uh-huh.
Uh, by the way, an example of that I saw in this YouTube video was like when you get in your car, you put your seatbelt on automatically.
Oh,
You know what I mean?
great
Like that was
example.
an
Yes.
example of something your body doesn't eat, because like you're just hardwired to, like, when I sit here, I click this,
Uh-huh.
you
Yep.
know? So, I mean, for 498 days, I
Mm-hmm.
had automaticity of those rings being closed.
Yep. Yep.
Taking Indy out for a walk, doing some runs, and I'm back on that. I think I'm at 66 days now. Isn't that what we're at now?
Oh, I think we're more than that.
Are we?
I think we
Okay,
might be
sweet.
over 100.
Seriously?
Yeah.
How do we figure that out?
I'll try to figure it out before the end of the
Okay.
app.
Okay, so that's, you know what,
They don't make it easy, by the way. Thanks, Apple.
they totally don't. Um what I'm wondering is there a way to develop a few habits in different areas of your life? Like, can you compartmentalize a little bit? So like you've got a work habit or maybe up to 3, and then like a family habit or 2 or 3.
Yeah. Right.
Uh a health,
I
or
love
is
this.
it
Yep.
just like all you can focus in on is this one thing in this one area? Like
I
I'm thinking about
I like
that.
this a lot, dude. Because I think that flossing every day is
Mm-hmm.
a different habit
Yep.
than um let's go in increments. I've been trying to cut sugar out more, right?
Uh-huh. Yep.
That habit is way different than flossing every day because it flossing every day takes what? A minute?
Uh-huh.
Cutting out sugar for me is a lifestyle change.
Yeah, that's a
A
big one.
a physical health lifestyle change. Then you get into like I want to change the way I think because I
Mm.
have unhealthy thinking patterns. That's
Yeah.
another level, right?
Uh-huh. Yeah.
Um, even one that we had that I have my 2024 resolutions in front of me.
Yep.
One of them is decrease social media on phone. That's a lifestyle change that
Yep.
has smaller habits underneath it. I get into community on here. That's a lifestyle change. So I think so first of all, I think size matters.
Mm-hmm.
I also think there's something to what you're saying about what if you picked 3 habits, but they were each in a different compartment of your life
Yeah.
so that you're not stacking all of the physical ones on top of each other and then doing none.
Yeah, so that you're not saying to your kids, like, we're trying to develop this habit of frisbee, like we talked about,
Yep.
uh and reading in bed every night
Yeah.
as 2 great, but it's like, oh, but sorry, I got to work on my gut for 6 months. So we'll do
Sorry,
that.
I'm not going to read a book to you for the next year
Yeah, because
because I have to lose weight.
it's
Yeah,
not
but
like you're
it's
in
not
the
like
other
that.
room just like not trying to eat sugar or
Yeah.
something.
Yep.
You could do those both at the same time
Yeah.
or something, you know?
Yep. So I really
And
I
floss.
think
You could floss in bed also.
right. There
While
was
not
one
being on
time
Instagram.
there was one like I think this might have been in a James Clear book, but it wasn't. James Clear said that he had read about a guy who started developing the flossing habit by flossing one tooth a day.
Oh yeah. Micro habits, right? Wasn't
Yes.
that yep.
So
Uh-huh.
there we're going very small. I think that if I was going to give an overall like I guess it's a Gomer's tip. I don't know what it is. An overall like way to move forward in this. How about this?
Mm-hmm.
Is that I have to be really careful about amount of habits because then I do none.
Mm-hmm.
But
Okay.
I'm not sure it's a cut and dry one at a time thing. Definitely need to decrease. I love this idea of categorizing
Mm.
and thinking, just being a little bit more self-aware about which habits am I choosing. And then there's something in there about calendaring for me where 2024 resolutions I'm looking at right now, that's just like a big chunk of stuff. It might
Yep.
help, and I've done this before. I'm not doing it right now to actually, when I do resolutions, I actually separate them out through the year.
Yeah.
Um, any other thoughts that you had about this?
Yeah, I was inspired by actually Seriously.
Mm-hmm. Great
Alex
YouTube
had
show.
his so great. Our Gomer 3 Alex.
Mm-hmm.
Uh he had his pastor on. Did you see that episode?
Yes, I did.
I loved it. It was so good.
Mm-hmm. Great app.
And his pastor said this thing, and he was like, he decided a while ago that he was just going to eat food.
Right. Okay.
And
Yep. Just eat food.
just eat food.
Mm-hmm.
And so it's super funny to say that,
Yeah.
but he's like, what he did is he started to eating food and not stuff that isn't food,
Junk.
junk.
Yep.
And so that is our July. That is our one thing for July
Okay.
is we're just eating food, dude. It's
Okay.
basically Whole30 again.
Yeah.
The most success I've ever had is when I choose one thing and do it, and me and Aaron do it together.
Okay. There's another thing people can put away for another tip. Like it actually does help when somebody else is doing it with you.
Yep.
Yep.
Um, so just eat food. So we're gonna try that
Okay.
again. Having just said that I tried the spicy potato burrito, spicy taco, whatever, spicy potato
Spicy
taco.
potato taco. Yeah. That's
Yeah.
good.
So we'll talk about that on the Gomer Jobs, and I
You know,
won't
we've
have that
we've
this
been
month.
we've been doing this for almost 16 years. I think you could like the in parentheses again is almost a given at this point, right?
Okay.
Like,
Yep.
um, and it's okay to start again. We've had episodes about that, right? But
Yeah.
I like it's okay to start again and being showing yourself grace and knowing thyself and not trying to do 30, 40, 50 of these at once.
Yeah.
Yeah. All right. Anything else to say before we head on to the close and what's giving us life?
Hold on. Or yeah, pause. I want to edit right there.
Great.
Um,
I want to make sure you get anything else out.
yeah, there was one last thing that I was gonna say. Just eat food. What was it? Oh shoot. Now I can't remember, dude. Now I'm having a brain freeze.
It's okay. I think this has been awesome.
Yeah, it's been super fun. Uh, just that it's something I'm in process with. I'll say that.
Okay, great.
Can you ask that again?
Mm-hmm. Any final thoughts before we head into the close?
Yeah, dude. This is just something that we're in process with.
Mm-hmm.
I love the idea of it's okay to start again.
Mm-hmm.
And I think doing it like having accountability like we have right here, and then with Aaron especially, it kind of becomes a fun project to do together.
Yeah.
So looking forward to reporting back.
Mm-hmm.
I mean, I've had a couple of doctor visits that haven't been super great.
Yeah. Welcome to 45.
Yeah, I've got the colonoscopy. They asked me that I need to do that.
You know what? This
And
might be
then
this
I
might
don't
be the one thing, city slicker style.
yeah,
The
one thing.
one thing, colonoscopy. I
What's
haven't
your
either. I haven't done it yet.
one- Yeah, so we need to talk about that.
Okay.
But they did this like, dude, I did an ultrasound for my liver and gallbladder and something else today.
Really? Wow.
Yeah, and I was like, I was like, I feel like, because she, so it's just so prescient about the beer gut thing. Okay,
Uh-huh.
this
She's like
lady,
moving stuff around.
yes, she,
Like
dude,
manhandling you, woman
pulled my,
handling you.
yeah, she pulled my shirt up and she applied the hot goo and did an ultrasound too.
Yeah,
Because
I've been there.
I have like these liver like something that's raised whatever
Yeah.
enzymes or something, I don't know. And I sort of panicked, dude, during that.
Oh yeah, sure.
And I mean, I was talking to the lady. We were having a great chat because I was like, I got to be honest.
Hmm.
The last time I saw this happen was with my wife,
Yeah.
and a baby was in her belly, and I feel really weird. I didn't know that dudes did this.
Yeah.
And she was like,
I've had
actually,
some weird ultrasounds in weird places on my body.
really?
Yes.
Okay. Well, she just said that in her ultrasound like school,
Uh-huh.
she said that pregnant pregnant women
Mm-hmm.
is the last thing they learn. She's like
Mm-hmm.
she thought the same thing
Wow.
until she went to school and she was like, "Oh, that's like that's the final lesson."
Right.
And I was like, "Okay." So I guess maybe all this is framed. I just wanted to finish with that. Is
Mm-hmm.
framed by the fact that I'm feeling like I want to take charge before I'm forced. Like make some changes before I'm forced to make changes.
That's all. I love
That's
that, bro. I mean, not
that.
I love the sentiment, I guess.
Yeah.
Before, so I think what you're saying is before like you get so sick
Yep. Or
that you have
before
no
you're.
choice to change, or before
Yep.
your mental state, not you,
Uh
but
huh.
one's mental state
Yep.
gets so maybe difficult that you just
Yep.
have to change. You pre-plan the
Hmm.
changing the habits to be healthy.
Yeah, and it's kind of like those doctor visits were kind of like signs or something, or
Mm-hmm.
like almost like warning signs.
Yeah.
And so that's kind of the why behind even way beyond the beer gut is like,
Yeah.
yeah. So,
When people ask us how our house stuff is going,
mm,
I say we're finally at a place where we're choosing projects instead of those projects choosing us.
mm, that's really good.
And there's like,
Yep.
I think it's what you're talking about. There's this freedom um, of being able to say, I'm going to take something one step at a time because I actually have some semblance of control right now.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Yep. That's it.
All right, bro. Great stuff. Let's head into the
Sweet.
close and talk some what's giving us life this week.
Oh, sounds great. All right, let's clap. One, two, three, clap,
Clap. 1, 2, 3, clap.
clap.
All right, what's giving us life this week? We always like to close with this. Can I go first? It's pretty quick.
Yeah.
Now this is 6 weeks late, but that's just because of how our recording schedule was and how these things work.
Yep.
But I didn't want to forget to mention that one of the things that has given me the most life this year was the fifth annual. Hey, how's it going over there? Virtual 5K and 10K, two Gomers
Mm,
race. I got all that order wrong, which I always do.
all
But
good.
that happened over Memorial Day weekend. Couple hundred Gomer of the members of the Gomer Nation ran with us that day. Not
Amazing.
that
Yep.
day, over that weekend sometime.
Mm-hmm.
Um, dozens and dozens of people posted their runs on Instagram and we reposted them. Thank you, Lindsay, for helping out with that.
Mm-hmm.
Um, I think one of the things that always gives me the most life, this is like one of, well, I would say this and now Turkey Trots because we're also doing a race guide with that.
Yeah.
Those two times of year are like our Gomer events, right?
Yeah.
Um, where it feels like we're not just talking about this stuff, we're gonna do it. And the fact that our listeners step up to that challenge, and so many people say, I haven't run for a long time, and this got me
Yeah.
out there again.
Yeah.
Um, every picture that came in, y'all, just brought me so much life. It's the
Hmm.
one time when I can say, one of the few times when I could say social media is amazing.
Yeah, for sure.
Because we get to see your faces, hear your stories. And it was just like I was on a high all weekend that weekend,
Mm.
just with the Gomer Nation together as a family. I felt like running, um, all different ages, all different sizes and shapes, all different
Yep.
abilities. It was just so fun. So that gave me a ton of life.
Mm. Dude, I loved that too. It's like people come out of the woodwork,
Mm-hmm.
and you're right. It's like the Gomer Nation becomes real that weekend
Yes.
more than, I mean, we have our Gomer party,
Oh yeah.
Thanksgiving,
That's
like
another
other
event. You're
things.
right. That's another.
Yeah.
The Gomer party is similar to this, where we get to see each other.
Yeah.
Gomer Christmas party, and yeah, it's tangible in a different way when those
Mm.
things happen, and it's just so fun.
I loved it. and I
Yep.
loved running too. And I hadn't run in a long time. I'm not only a member, I'm also a founder. What is it?
Well, I'm not only the CEO, but I'm also a member.
Yeah, right. That's what it is. And I had a great run, and it was fun.
Yeah.
Uh, yeah, I totally agree. Love it.
Amazing stuff.
Loved it.
Tons of life. What about you, bro?
Super quick one. I've been meaning to mention this for a while, but dude, this is not paid, obviously. But dude, the Delta app. So we fly Delta.
Yeah, sure. I love Delta because of the TV screens.
Yeah. Oh, you can choose whatever you want to watch.
You fly
Uh,
American and you look at the back of the seat in front of you and you're like, no TV screen.
right. What was this? Like a baby's toy? It's like I want to stare at entertain me.
Really?
With what? Right. But we've had really fun travel stuff to look
Yeah.
forward to,
Mm-hmm.
and booking stuff ahead of time,
Mm.
and then having trips lined up in the app.
Yeah.
I don't know, man. I've never had more fun like just loading the app and just being excited about a trip. You know what I mean? So like, to see
Love
all of
this.
us four, our tickets to go to, we just got back from a week out in the Pacific Northwest.
Right. Yep.
And I don't know. It's just like I said last week or last time, say no to stuff
Mm-hmm.
and then travel with your fam, get off the couch.
Mm.
And having all those trips in the app has just brought me tons of life, dude. I mean, that's where our U2 trip was in there. My going to see
Uh-huh.
Mr. Garfield on his 100th birthday was in there. I right now have a trip to Berlin in August in there.
Do you put all that in your wallet too, in your Apple Wallet?
Oh yeah. Oh yeah.
I mean, I love that Apple Wallet because of
Dude,
what
me
you're talking
too.
about. You can scroll back, look at past tickets, you know.
Yeah. Yep.
It's kind of like the tip that you had about what is it called where photos on Apple
Oh yeah.
will make those things for you and you can instead of scrolling.
Yeah, look at your slideshows instead
Right.
of social media.
Yep.
We did that just a couple weeks ago on Apple TV. The
Mm.
four of us were in our bed
Mm-hmm.
and we watched Apple TV slideshows of the last 15, 20 years of our photos that it just makes through the
Incredible.
algorithm.
Mm-hmm.
And it was so fun. Just
Yep.
watch that in movie trailers.
Another thing I like on my Apple wallet is the movie tickets stay in there. And so
I
I can
love
see what
that.
movies I've seen. Now, I like that. I always ask for them to be printed at the service center so I can put them as bookmarks in my book, but also it's
Yeah.
pretty fun to scroll through those. Can I just tell you that you saying that one of your favorite parts of going on vacation is that you could see it all laid out in a nice, organized manner is like you're speaking my love language right now.
Dude, I know. I mean, the Lord put me with Aaron and
Uh-huh.
with you for a reason because you guys have made. I mean, I had a whole nother Gomer's tip, dude, about how to plan for vacations. And you
Wow.
would have loved that. But we
Save
didn't
it
have
for
time.
another ep. Don't forget.
Sweet. Okay, sweet.
All right. We want to hear from you, Nation. I am actually wondering about number of habits.
Mm,
What do you think, Nation, about how many habits can you try to change at the same time? Are you connecting with this categorizing thing? Does size matter? We're curious about all those things. The best way to contact us is go to Instagram and you can find in our bio our link tree to all things Gomers, or you can call us on the Gomer phone. That number is
608-622-7669. That's 608 NBA Pony.
just let me tell you what happened with NBA Pony quick. This is a little
Okay.
tease. Jessica and her sister shared a room their whole lives. Her
Yep.
sister was out here. So they were just,
Right.
when she gets together with her sisters, it's all folklore. You think
Sure.
we're folklore?
Yeah.
It's all nostalgia. Remember this, remember that. And they both had something they loved. Jessica
Mhm.
loved horses. And so half of the room was decorated in horses stuff.
Uh-huh.
And Rachel was obsessed with Michael Jordan. So half
Oh,
of the room
man.
was basketball stuff. And the first thing I thought of was 608 NBA Pony.
NBA Pony, dude. That was their room growing up.
It was meant to be.
That is incredible. Wow. Okay, no more nab.
No, just no. There's got to be something with Nab Pony.
Wait,
Just
didn't Annie say she liked Nab Pony, or she said she liked NBA Pony?
some people prefer Nab Pony.
Yeah. Okay.
Listen.
We still like the Nab.
Yeah, you do you. Live
Yep.
your best life. Don't forget
Yep.
to rate, review, and subscribe or follow us on whatever app you're listening to right now. Thank you to Davis for our music, Jason and Eric for our graphics, our webmaster Adam, and our social media maestro Lindsay. And thank you especially to our Gomertrons. You subscribe to our second podcast, The Bonus Disc, on Patreon. Not only home to our monthly movie show, Perfect Movie, where we just covered Batman 1989 and National Treasure, but extra episodes like Perfect Cracker 2, Perfect Chip, and Perfect Jobs 3 post college edition. Need we say more? Up to 4 episodes per month, depending on the level at which you subscribe. All that and more is at patreon.com/2gomers. We welcome your support and we thank you.
Sweet, dude. Well, should we record the Gomer Jobs 3 edition?
I cannot wait. This is like, we used to do a lot more of those kind of episodes where we just tell stories about our lives. This is the first time we've done an episode like this in a long time. Gomer Jobs 3 post college edition. Anthony's grad school jobs that he had when he was in New York City. I'm assuming. I haven't seen your notes. You hid these notes from me, I think, because you didn't want me to see them.
Yeah, that's the thing is, like, I don't like spoilers, you know what I mean? Like, I don't want you to read the notes and then be laughing. I want those laughs to be live.
I know. That's why I was like, why? I hope you didn't read mine yet, because some of them are redonkulous. I cannot wait to record Gomer Jobs.
Perfect. Nab Pony.
All right, dude. Great app.
Super fun, man. And remember, everybody, if we can make one small change at a time, maybe in lots of different areas, I don't know, we're figuring that stuff out.
Yeah, we're in process.
But if we can, even bring some automaticity to our flossing.
One tooth at a time.
One tooth at a time. You can too.
And happy running.
All right, let's stop that. 1, 2, 3, stop. Sweet. And 2 minutes of that is me trying to figure out what the heck what I wanted to say was that thing about you there?
Yep.
Okay, sweet. That I want to make a change before I'm forced to make a change.
I mean, that is gold, bro.
That was what my brain was like. What was it? I knew it was something that I really wanted to say.
I'm glad we got there. Yeah. Okay, I'm gonna stop this recording. Bye, everybody.